Hello and welcome to Bloodsport MMA. How good is Tai Tuivasa really? Will he still be able to fight for a title? Find it out in this Bloodtalk. Tai Tuivasa just fought last weekend at UFC Paris in Paris, France against Cyril Gane. Now, if we watch back on Tai Tuivasa's career, we have to consider these stats and facts to then say if he's really a problem, if he's still a prospect, if he's really that good or not. So he came into the UFC being, I think, 6-0, all 6 knockouts, first round knockouts, which is insane. And then in the UFC, the first 2 fights, he won by knockout again. And by then I was like, okay, this guy, I did not know much about him. This guy's serious problem. I mean, coming in the UFC, I think his first knockout was even a flying knee in the UFC. Then the second fight again, first round knockout, that's like 8 fights, first round knockout. Insanity. Then he had the ultimate test against the gatekeeper, Andrei Arlovski. Now, if you fight Andrei Arlovski, that determines if you are in for being a challenger, being a contender, or if you're just a journeyman who will go in and out of the UFC again. He passed that test. He did not manage to knock Arlovski out, but he won by decision, fair and square. We have to give him that. And by then I was like, okay, look, now the gate is open for him to make the most out of him and get to a title. Then I was like, okay, look, he still has a lot to work on. I don't know how good he really is, but he has a future. Then unfortunately for him, he lost 3 in a row. One of them against JDS, Junior Dos Santos. You can lose against him. He's a legend. He's very good heavyweight, a very good heavyweight. But then losing against Blago Ivanov by decision, losing against Sergey Spivak by submission. Not too good looks. If you consider losing to these 2 guys the way he lost, I mean, getting knocked out, everybody can get knocked out in the heavyweight division. But getting submitted in decision by these 2 guys, if you then compare these opponents to guys like Cyril Gane, Tom Aspinall, Francis Ngannou, Miocic, you name it, you would say no chance. But then he managed to turn things around. I don't know what he changed, but he changed something. He came back better than ever, and he started to impress me again. 2 wins that really stand out to me and are really important for our consideration here is to win against Greg Hardy. Greg Hardy, for those of you who don't know him, he's not a fighter. He's a football player, American football player that came over to MMA. He's a great athlete, but not a great fighter. He knows how to use his power. He knocked people out, yes, but he was never a guy that could win against the top 5 guys or something. He was just not that good of a fighter. And Greg Hardy rocked Tai Tuivasa hard. He had him out on his feet. And in that moment I was like, okay, that's it. That's 4 losses in a row for Tai. He will get cut. But Tai then showed something that is really impressive and important for our consideration. Is his heart. And something else. I mean, you saw his heart there. He was out on his feet, still kept going, which is the other part that I mean. Nobody, literally nobody that you see has power or, can knock people out when they're rocked themselves. Normally when you're rocked, your vision is blurred.
My vision is blurry. Yeah, blurring.
And you don't have any control over your body anymore. Your body is folding together somehow. But Tai Tuivasa, whenever he's rocked, he just walks forward like a zombie and throws overhands from hell. Normally you don't have any power in your shots if you're rocked. And normally you don't walk forward, but having power in your shots when you're rocked, this is impressive. And he has that. I mean, you saw it against Greg Hardy. He was out on his feet. He then threw an overhand and knocked Greg Hardy out cold. I think it was an overhand. Pretty impressive. I was really shocked by that. And by then I was like, okay, this guy has something special. And then a very impressive win was against Derrick Lewis. Coming into that fight, I thought that's the kryptonite for Tuivasa. I was like, okay, he's good, he's really good, he's a brawler. He always reminded me of Mark Hunt, even though that's not a fair comparison, because Mark Hunt, as much as I love him, as much as he's a legend, he's like 13-14 in his pro MMA record. He never won any MMA titles or something, as far as I'm concerned at least. He was never a real title threat, in my opinion. I know you can hate me in the comments, but for me it is like that. But he was also a guy with very heavy hands, not the best ground game whatsoever, but just very heavy hands. Also he's Samoan, and he just always reminded me of him. And I was like, okay, look, Mark Hunt had his kryptonites in the top of the division, and Tai will have the same. And I really thought Derrick Lewis will knock Tai out. I thought, look, if Greg Hardy rocks you, Derrick will knock you out. Because people, yeah, Derrick lost some fights now, but back then, Derrick was still the real deal. He only lost, the only guy who knocked Derrick Lewis out, like Tuivasa did, was Gane. And Gane is one of the best heavyweight strikers you will ever see. And I mean, the way Tuivasa folded Derrick Lewis and took the spirit out of him with the elbows, everything. I mean, he took Derrick Lewis' best shots there, and he stood there like a f***ing rock. I was so impressed by him there. I was so impressed. And after this fight, I officially declared him a problem. But then the fight got announced against Cyril Gane, and I was like, can he beat a guy like that? Because Derrick Lewis is a big threat, he's a top fighter, but he's not that technical striker like a Gane or a Aspinall or somebody like that. So I was concerned, I was like, But then I thought about it, and so many people around me, most of the people I know, told me, that fight, you don't even need to watch it, that will be an easy fight for Gane, he will just dismantle him and everything. And I told him, hey, don't count Tuivasa out. Tuivasa improved so much lately. His striking got very good. He managed to hit you from everywhere, no matter who you are, and he showed it against Gane. I mean, Gane normally picks everybody apart from the outside with his jabs and teeps. He tried it against Tuivasa. At first, it really did not work. I mean, Gane was not hitting Tuivasa how he wanted. Gane was having some problems hitting Tuivasa, and he got hit a lot. And normally Gane managed to go out of the punches. But Tuivasa connected, and Tuivasa knocked him out. Gane somehow, Angel came down and helped him up again, because he even said himself he was out. And he came back, which is very impressive. But Tuivasa could have easily won the fight there, which is crazy if you consider how heavy a favorite Gane was. And Tuivasa really showed how crazy good he is. That he's not just a brawler, he's not just an overhand thrower, like throwing and hoping. No, he has fight IQ. He has high technical abilities and everything. He's a great fighter, and he showed it in that fight. He lost him to Gane, yes, but it was a crazy war. He went out on his shield, showed tremendous heart, and in my opinion, his stock only went up. And that's why I can answer you this question. Is he really that good? Yes, Tuivasa is that good. Tuivasa is a guy that can win against everybody. I think Aspinall and okay, let's say John Jones, Aspinall, and maybe Curtis Blades are guys that give him big problems. Especially, I think Aspinall and John Jones, I don't see big chance for him to beat them. But he can beat everybody, as I said. Curtis Blades, I mean, if Derrick Lewis has knocked him out, why shouldn't Tuivasa be able to? The problem is just Blades has good wrestling and ground game, which is not the biggest strength of Tuivasa. But I still want to see Tuivasa and Gane. I tell you, Tuivasa and Gane, I know he won't get a title shot right now, but Tuivasa is 29. Tuivasa still has some time, and I don't say Ngannou will stay the champion. I believe Ngannou will be dethroned by John Jones, but I want to see my dream schedule and play out. And that's not a hate on Ngannou. I really like Ngannou. It's just because of the matchup. I would like to see John Jones and Ngannou by the end of the year. John Jones wins against Ngannou, however, and Ngannou then fights Tuivasa. I think Ngannou-Tuivasa is such a great fight, and people need to talk about that. that fight is not talked about enough. It is probably the fight out of all possibilities for Tuivasa, because Tuivasa should stick in the top 7 of the division, because the heavyweight, they have like 7 good fighters, 7 top fighters, and the rest are maybe contenders that come up, but most of them are just guys like Arlovsky who just stick around somehow and float around, and yeah. I would like to see that. I would really like to see Tuivasa against Ngannou. I think that's the crazy best matchup for us. I could really see Tuivasa winning the fight, man. It's very dangerous. Ngannou is a crazy good fighter, but maybe he would use wrestling. I don't know, but I want to see that. Right below in the comments, who do you want to see Tuivasa against? Am I right? Is he really that good? Is he really a problem? Will he win a title in the future? Honestly, I don't say he is a guy that will win a title. I don't predict it. If I will have to predict, I would say no, he won't. But it's definitely possible, and I would definitely be happy for him because I really like him. That was it for today. Like this video, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, guys, and most importantly, eat your vegetables that you don't have to fight in the heavyweight division. Bye-bye. Bloodsport out.
Eat your vegetables.